Okay, so I think that's long enough for silence, right? I thought I would try it. And good morning, yes, to you, Crew Gaming. I will not say the P word. That way I can be truthful, right? Not a P. Uh, uh, hey, Carrie. I did get some rest, yeah. I'm drawing, I'm doing a little, well, I was drawing in a blade that should be here on the side of the arm. Uh, let's see, Demon. Let me wipe this out. This portion of the rock without over inking my line. I think that'll work. And that little speck that really doesn't bother me, but I'll get it out of the way. I'm just thinking, okay, is that bone blade big enough on that arm compared to the other one? Uh, Actually, the other one's probably a little too big, but we'll just call that closer. It looks, you know, looks about the same distance, maybe a little bit closer. Uh, but I have to put in, and I don't like that. So let's just cut that off. A tangent there with his underwing, uh, and the blade. They don't really need to touch. In fact, I may just wide a portion of this out and make that even more cut out there, damaged, because he's been in a fight and he's kind of beat up, one swollen eye. Needs color when drawing the lines. Um, Needs color when drawing the lines. What do you mean, crew? Like blue line, red line, or just what? I mean, black and white to reproduce, right? I mean, whether you have it colored by a colorist or not, or or hand color it, however you're going to color it. So I don't know. Does the if I ink it darker, I think you can see the pencil. Hopefully, Vic will work me out a model sheet. Get this out of the way. Put that down there where I can spill it later. Turn it over. So his bone blades, and they can become soft and supple in the water, fin like if he so desires. But it's like a blocking or slashing. It would be on this portion of the arm, the outer part of the arm, opposite of the thumb. Uh, I was thinking that maybe the way he had it here was on top of the arm and not on the side of the arm. But when I look at the elbow there that he has, he's kind of got it right here, which would be correct. Right here up top. But it's just that the hand is turned flat, turned like that, which is fine. Well, maybe it's turned like this. The blade should be right here, right, right, and this is hard to do on the camera. So everything's right the opposite. Okay, so it would be down here. There we go. Start up there, down, right in here. And it wouldn't go quite to the elbow because he has to bend that elbow, right? And if it's a rigid bone blade for blocking, for slashing, uh, And it certainly doesn't need to be up on top of the arm, because you would have to. That's an all different defense thing. Plus, it's putting your hand at risk, right? This is a broader surface for somebody to possibly, you know, and it's on the outside. If it's on the inside, how would you, you know? Uh, so I don't know. Do you think I have this blade big enough compared to this one? I think you can see it there in pencil. When done drawing the lines, yeah, damn spell check. When done drawing the lines, oh, it needs color when drawing. Yeah, when done drawing. Yeah. So bone blades, what do you think? I mean, this might be a little closer, so it's going to appear bigger, right? But it seems like it's not that big a distance between the two. Maybe I have this blade a little small. I probably draw them a little small. I mean, it's not supposed to be really out there. Uh, so, I'll think about that. And then I usually do like just the three little dashes, which, he kind of gets a little spiky with the little dashes, the little marks on the fin. Uh, the leg. I don't have a problem with the leg blades. He's got the leg blades. That's probably about right, about as best as you can do with the bone blades. Like I say, in the water, but he's out of the water here. He's within a hellish fiery realm. He's kind of out of his element. So, all right. So let me get to this. Uh, yeah, everything looks. I mean, color makes it pop, adds volume, right? Um, Maybe I'll do a little cross hatching on that foot so the lines aren't so straight. Maybe go down to the. Extend it down to the toes. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll fix his under wing here where there's no longer a tangent, where they're actually touching the blade. Of course, if I make the blade a little bit bigger, I have to do away with more of the underwing on the character. It's all shredded, torn up somewhat. How much damage do I want to put on his body? And then how's the best way to depict a bruise or a. You've obviously been in a scrape. And this is a depicting a scene uh, that will occur in the future. But he's all beat up. The first time you're introduced to Sea Demon in the story that I have planned, is he's all swollen eye, beat up and bruised, and he's battling this character. Just drops out of nowhere, out of this place actually. Let's see, the fin blade for the other arm with how the arm is positioned would be would not be out of sight. The one that I put in there, because I mean, actually, I mean, it definitely needs a blade here. It would not be out of sight here, right? That's why I had to add the blade. Uh, and that's why I need to get a model sheet on him because the position of the blades should be consistent. And other than that, he's pretty easy to draw, uh, unless you don't know how to draw feet. Looks the same. Can't really tell they're big or not. Okay. If there are fin blades, they won't flop right. Well, they're not. I mean, they're bone blades. They're rigid. But now, when he's in the water, I figure that it's the bone is sort of porous. It's part of his skeletal structure, right? So he can. Uh, I don't know. I kind of thought that up because of the inconsistencies of the way, even on John's piece. Let's see if I have it here. Uh, he made them a little floppy, and I thought, well, you could justify that with he can mentally sort of control that and make it hard, or I know you're going to do something with that, Carrie. Make it hard, or make it floppy. Take your pick. But that was because of inconsistencies, and he had them almost like, and that might be nice, right? I'm in a happy place. I'm just swimming along, and I don't know. I originally had them just as bone blades. They were rigid all the time. Um, let's see. Okay, let me finish this one. If they are fin blades, they won't flop right. The one we can see looks like it goes from top of a hand to elbow. Yeah, around I mean the wrist to stop short of the elbow. I'm fine with it stopping about right here. Where he has it. I mean that's still bendable, right? And he tends to on his elbows and his knees sometimes just go straight across a straight line. Well, that's not the way my elbow is. My elbow's bony, and that's what I'm kind of going by, right? There's actually a protrusion there. You hit somebody with that, and it's either going to stun you or hurt them too, or both. If that's the case, the other arm is twisted round enough to presumably mean you wouldn't see it. Well, okay. So if it's opposite of the thumb, though, Carrie, if the way he has it, yeah, you could say, okay, the way that one looks. But I'm looking, at a bent elbow, and this would be the right part of the arm, right? Because it's on the outside of the body, right? Opposite of the thumb. So it'd be out here. And if I bent my arm like he has it, it would be right there. So it is. I had to think that one through. Uh, the elbow I might adjust. Well, I might have already tried to do that. I don't know. I've inked so many darn things. Um, but yeah, he does tend to square off his knees and his elbows, and I'd like a little bit more articulation there. More lifelike elbow. Um, let's see. Let's see. See the one on that arm. Let's see. I mean, with position of arm, it would be out of sight. Did someone else draw that character? Yeah, this is Vic. This is Vic King's drawing. This is a redraw, although he sent me one before. I don't know where it is, or I'd do a comparison. Um, the other one was just fine. I was cleaning it up and inking it. As far as the positions are concerned, I don't, of the blades, I don't know on those. Uh, but anywho, thanks guys and gals. See you later. Take care and stay safe out there. Thank you, crew. Sorry to be so boring. Good morning, all. Shadowhawk is up. So I don't know, Carrie. I mean, this is Does this not look right to you? Like I would have it? Because it would be opposite of the thumb, and you're seeing the underside of his arm, uh, bicep, and kind of underside of the arm. Uh, I think the one on it looks like it's sitting on top of his arm, but he's really got his hand twisted somewhat. But as far as the elbow position, it would be correct. Boring. You're not boring unless you think you're boring, but anytime. But yeah, I mean, I gave up boredom a long time ago. If you're bored, you just need to. Uh, I never get bored, not anymore. Somehow I rationalized that a long time ago. Does that look good to you, Carrie? Oh, can you ask Vic where he envisions the fin blade? He drew it so may help if he explains. Yeah. Yeah, well, I've talked to him about the position of the blades, and that's why I've asked for a model sheet instead of another drawing. He never said yes or no on that. He may have just commissioned, but I do have some pages that were to be, just that he was to do that I had given him no explanation for. So I do have some pages that he's supposed to do me, and I'm supposed to tell him what to do. So, uh, a model sheet's not out of the, because he probably needs a model sheet. I mean, I can envision it. I mean, your elbow by the bend of the elbow. Whoops, by the end of the elbow, it would be, right here. Definitely not on top, which there's not a lot. It's the blades here or blades here, right? Whatever. And I can rotate that. Now that's going to change my muscles, but not a lot. The twist of the arm or the look of the arm here, you have more of an arch, right? When I have it up like that, like maybe a blocking move or something. The position of your wrist or your hand can change the look of the arm and the shape of the arm, right? And then the shape of the musculature also here. This is rock hard. The other arm where you can't see the fin, it looks like we're seeing the inside of the elbow. Well, I see a bicep and an arm like this, like that, like you're seeing the underside of it. That's the way I'm interpolating it. Um, I just know when the hand is like this, it should be here. Otherwise, it's going to be on top of the arm. That's. But I see what you're saying. This is actually, I take this the underside of his that we're not seeing the elbow, and we're seeing and that dark muscle there probably needs to be lightened up some or something, because it really does cut the roundness of the bicep out there. Uh, but you can take another look. You may be right. To me, I see, if you have your hand positioned like that, which is an easy way to draw the hand, really. Um, something like this where you're a little bit more uh, difficult to shape to envision, I guess. But to just draw this, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. But when you're showing the sides of the fingers like this, and really the thumb, if you look at it, I guess people hold their thumbs different ways, right? So here, I'm not actually seeing the top of this thumb here, and it bent down. I'm just basically seeing almost like a circle right there where the so, but So I probably should fix that thumb a little bit. It depends on the positioning of it. If I'm looking at what he has here, and he does have it kind of angled down a little bit. Um, and I'm not thinking this through, uh, not trying to think it through too much, but and correct too much. Trying to work with what he has here, but definitely I don't think you would see your thumb like that too. And I do that all the time too. It's like, okay, but if you think about what you really see, uh, the shape is going to be different. And again, he's got it a little bit like that there. So maybe a little more rounded on the tip, and that's a little less of the thumb would be a little bit more uh, accurate. But it's it's is that what you're seeing? Even positioning the arm about like it is, right? The more you tilt it this way, the more of the thumb you're going to see, for sure. So is that tilted that much? We're seeing thumb. Okay, so maybe a little more rounded on the tip, a little bit more angular on the diagonal on the to make it reach that point. More positioning the thumb more into the hand. I don't know. It's still pretty straight word outline here. I'm overthinking it here now, but yeah, I probably improve on that thumb just a little bit. But the elbows and the knees are been the primary thing. Uh, because I don't know if anybody just has a. I mean, you have to think about the anatomy, no matter who you are. It looks like it is on the top of the arm for the one we do see. Yes, that's what I thought. But then when you think it through, okay, the bend of the elbow and your okay, so we got the curled fingers here, right? The little pinky finger. Um, well, maybe so, because that's the outside the out that's the outside of the arm there, right on the pinky finger. So we kind of follow the pinky finger. So it may need to come down here. It did look on top of the arm to me as well. Uh, so I'll have to think this through. But now this one here, if we're talking pinky, then I have the blade where the pinky is. Unless you see like you were talking about the elbow, uh, but I really, even though he's kind of showing the side of the bicep, then he's twisting the arm and just giving you the broad arm here. So, uh, the best thing is to get in the mirror and go, okay, let me do this position and see. I take it that it's like this. You're not seeing my elbow. My elbow's right here, back here. You're seeing my bicep. You're seeing my broad arm, but you're not seeing my elbow. And it follows the elbow and the pinky finger, unless you rotate the hand, and then the pinky finger is no longer there. But the way this is, it's just broad like that, so it'd be out here. So I think I have that correct on here. He didn't put a fin. It needed a fin. And yes, you're right. This, if, you know, unless he's doing this and rotating the hand. So I just can't go by the pinky finger all the time. If you have to go by the elbow. That's your 2 points of reference, your wrist. But now your wrist can do some things, right? You have the little bone here, the little bump, right? Like an ankle. And you can rotate that around in all number of positions. So you do have to think these things through. I see one fin blade on top of the arm and the other one presumably out of sight because it's on top of the arm and we're seeing inside of arm. Well, it should never be on top. It should never be on top where my hair is, right? It should never be on top. Then you can't get the slashing, right? Or the blocking with the blade. Which, if you defend yourself, you're going to do like this. You're not going to go like that. And that's a broader target anyway. We just naturally do this, right? We don't we don't do that. Give you the whole arm. That's kind of unnatural. You just kind of bring it up and you block, right? The elbow out and whatever. Outside the arm should be the blade, and the curvature. How that curves. An arch. Although it was opposite of. Look at that curve of that arm. That's a good looking arm, man. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that strong hand. Look at that. That's Greek god stuff. I don't know, man. That's great. Grab your nose. You don't have to. I did. I just. How do you think it got so big? I pinch that thing daily. Are you kidding? That's no whiskey nose, although it might look whiskey in this camera. It's looking very red. It's because I pinched it before it came on. Let's see. I see one fin on top of the arm and the other one presumably outside because I know it looks like on top of the arm. Let's see the other arm where you can't see fin blade. Looks like you're seeing the inside of the elbow. Where yeah, I think we discussed all that. Oh, so yeah, he can definitely twist his wrist. And if I'm comparing hands, he has this one a little bit bigger than this one. So presumably it's a little bit closer to you if it's bigger, right? Like he's whatever. So I don't know. I'll fix it. I'll come up with something, right? Uh, what made you lash out? Let's see. Uh, side on both fin blades would need to be drawn. Terry, you need to come on here and explain yourself. I mean, just you never jump on. Hey, you're behind an icon. It's hard to talk about this stuff and uh, Rex's sexy arm. Yeah, I have some pretty nice hands, right? Not bad for 57, right? Massage hands. I thought about being a masseuse at one time. I think that'd be interesting work till you got to, you know, some people you didn't really want to rows of fat or skinny to the bone or all types. I guess like surgeon, you just kind of block that out and do your job. If meant to be on the side of the arm, would both fin blades would need to be drawn? Don't how you would do that without starting again, but I'm not a comic artist. Oh well, I would white it out and I'd redraw it just like I drew. I would draw it. Uh, I definitely had to redraw it. I'd white it out and then I would draw the fin on the correct position. You know. And try and make it match it up with the blades that he has, which are pretty cool. Because I mean, the thing about the blades are there's a lot of ways you can, but he has it really turned in here at the top, and that's the way it was originally designed. Um, and this one looks a little fatter. Really, I don't have a lot of space to put it in there, but it still should be the correct shape. think that's pretty close. But see how this is a good example of a correct fin, on the leg, because it really curves in here, and I did emphasize that to him. Um, See that outward leg, it really curves in. There's kind of a point up top to it. It's really prominent, because you can get lazy and just go, and make it more rounded. And perhaps maybe that's what I've done on his arm. But the trick of it is with the blades to turn it in here, almost like a back, like a nine or whatever. It's hard to describe. And with every artist, it's going to vary. Uh, Artists are all narcissists. Yeah, maybe. Uh, Someone mine is wondering, talking about hands, arms, massaging. Yeah. You need Vic, not me, on panel to explain his drawing. Well, I don't know if that's going to help, but I mean, and I don't know that he's up. He's going out of town here pretty soon, so he's welcome to come on. But yeah, if it's correct, I want to keep it. But I don't think this is my interpretation of it on this arm here, which was the one I was trying to fix. And I'll keep thinking about this. And, it helps to look in the camera because it's like a mirror and see the position of the arm. And this could be feasible, though. I could see this could be feasible, going by where he has the elbow, right? And then the wrist might be, but it does look like, and at first I was like you, Carrie. It looks like it's sitting on top of the arm because you're seeing the broad side of his hand right there. But again, I think maybe it should be positioned more straightly right here. But when you go with how he had the elbow, but I don't know. I don't know. This is why communication is important, to like get it approved when you get a pencil drawing, so that you know and the fins are a nightmare, sometimes can be. It just takes practice, of drawing the character, I think, to get it. And notice I hadn't said the P word. Peepee? No, that's not it. People? No. uh Chicken pot pie? No. uh So Shadow's up early for work. All right. So this might be kind of like your unofficial morning wake up call for some of you. And the better question would be, Carrie, have you gotten any sleep? I got a little napsky. And this is pretty close to being finished. I think the fin work is just about all I need. On it. I want to look it over good, because I mean, these are the characters, right? And it needs to be correct on spot. I don't mind a little artistic license by any means. Uh, but anatomy shouldn't change, you know. Um, so and I really don't want to be critical. Uh, but your leg anatomy and arm anatomy, and your anatomy does not change. We all have the basic framework. Um, and there is exaggeration, and there is variance, right? I mean, with positioning of the human form, you're going to get some variance uh, in things. So I'll probably finish that when I'm a little bit more lucid, because that's, at least I got that fin put in there. You know, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Yeah, really need some uh, art pieces. Find some art pieces. Won't be working on the cover. Just that I'll have some cover streams to work on the covers. Let's see what I have here. I have artwork that I've shown. That's what that stuff is. I guess I could try and wipe that feather out. On this one that James commissioned. It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. I think a thin line, and sometimes the whiteout doesn't quite white out the black that you have underneath it completely. And it sometimes goes gray. And these aren't too fine of tips, so there we go. I think that worked out good. And you reduce it down, I don't think there'll be any. Well, that looks a little hazy, blah 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 blah. I'm just correcting little things, and I say correcting. Uh, like on the tip of his blade here, it's not uniform, which is easy to do, easy to get it off, uh, unless the blade is made like that, right? Anyway, put that one away. It's almost done. I don't want to mess with anything that's almost done. I want put him over there. Some thick paper. These are fine. I really don't think I have everything in here. I just need to do some cleaning today. Heavy box here. See, this is the first piece. I haven't touched this that Vic did for me of Devil Flyer. And I could go in and darken the inks up. I mean the black areas up. I could darken those up somewhat. But I think you don't necessarily need that for it to reproduce. This was reproduced on uh, in the ash can. But like here's a pencil line up here. Okay. Uh, should I go in there and erase that? Eh, not really necessary. Doc's Nubian piece that he did. That's the first thing Doc Blaylock did for me. Kitty. Wow. And he did it on the Bristol cover. Isn't that cool? Yes, that's why the edge is so ragged here, which I could cut that off straight, but no big. I have to work the Nubian into a story somehow. I want to keep him. I want to keep that character kind of handy. Need to work on the blazer. Just kind of went that far and stopped. Started one there and didn't finish. Oh, Picasso said it's up to the artist to say when it is an art. I don't know exactly what he said, but is an artwork ever finished? I mean, I know what he means by that. Works in progress, right? You see how a piece can be better in your mind, and you might come back 2 years later and work on it. I don't know. I think for some time it's like you're leveling up all the time your skill set, and so I think it's best just to. Um, I guarantee you, if Vic keeps drawing, hopefully, and takes it seriously, then you know this will look like crap in 5 years. Compared to his stuff that he's doing, you know, currently 5 years later. You continually changing. Now this one I could work on. I could put in the drop shadows on the scaling. Uh, Needed very little done to it. The Uzi was kind of just shaded in. That was it with the outline of the pencil there. So there was no like straight edge or whatever on it. So probably put a straight edge on there where he has the pencil lines, right? Finish that. Or erase the pencil lines and go with what he has, which is not, you know, too bad. But I'll probably go with the lines while you had it drawn. I just don't think he went to the edge with that one. I think as big as this guy is, his package probably needs to be dropped down, if you know what I mean. He's almost done. We'll put him in the let's get done pile. So I would like to get done. So Nora Gray, I believe that's her name. So I need to, thinking about inking her. That's all pencil. At some point, I did some erasure and some white out of like some pencil lines that didn't totally. That's right, erase as much as I'd like, but other than that, I haven't touched that too much. I could work on her, which is like just the incomplete line here or there. Went in lightly, took some of the blue line out. That's about all I've done. Now I have a problem with the shirkin, I think it's called. The That didn't make sense to me. Maybe she's putting her finger in the hole of the shirkin. It's almost like the shirkin is transparent or her hand's going through the shirkin, right? Shirkin being that star like throwing star, which That's a pretty big one and not really uniform for a shirkin. So that's kind of different. I've never seen a shirkin quite like that, but it is a beautiful piece. Hey, Cable. Morning to you. I want to watch people make comic books, which isn't happening often. Huh? We make comic books around here all the time. That's all I can say. I'm working on mine. Uh, as far as getting something published, I'm working on it. Shadowhawk interviews next book out as soon as possible. Interviews today, isn't it? Shadowhawk interviews today, isn't it? Lord, I pray that you would give Shadowhawk the job he desires. Bible statement. Well, it's Wednesday. I believe it's Thursday. The interviews. Doc is a great artist. Yes, he is. Not trying to cause trouble and offense in my comments. My comments come from kind place. Yes. I got a little sleep. Yeah. Fell asleep at 4 p.m. ish. Not really. I'm just a comic fan. And we need more of those, Gable, for sure. Comic fans. Fanatic, short for fanatic. That Oriental one is pretty good. Yeah, it is. And it is Thursday today. Well, is it? Did we do hump day? I guess we did. Is it Thursday? My gosh. Yes. Yeah, you're one of the good ones, which is why I'm around often. Hmm. Well, okay. Um, yeah, I try and work on my stuff as much as I can, whether it's writing, creating, or you know, inking, draw streams. I understand, and I appreciate your patronage for sure. I'm just completing some lines that are incomplete inked for some reason. Uh, but yeah, the shirkin, I didn't understand that, and it could be a clear, transparent shirkin. And it seems like there should be another tip coming up here. As big as the others are. Although this one that she's holding in her hand is broader and broader than the others. I mean, it's got a strange configuration. Maybe that one tip is curved. I'm just kind of wondering. I don't want to appear too critical because it is a lovely piece. Uh, but I'm just not understanding the shirkin and how her hand is unless it's transparent, and then looks like the start of a hoe up top, but there's no bottom of the hoe, so I don't know. It's like my hand is like this, and there's supposed to be a shirkin inside of it. It's okay if there is, and there's no pointing finger there because it's behind the shirkin. You would see a little bit of it in the middle hoe. So that probably just needs the easiest is probably just to wipe that finger out, right? And it's easy when you're inking or whatever to, I mean, go to forget things like that. I've done it. Well, I've shown it to you, but it does look like that whole finger, which is a lovely finger, but it looks like that pointing finger should probably not be there. If she's actually holding the object, right? You might see a little bit of it in the circle of the circle in the middle. Complete the circle. Let's see. Gable, do you watch Doc stream or Stephen B? Both show comics being created. I watch both. I was recently on their streams too. Cool. Well, maybe I need to send you the link, uh, Gable Penny Shot, and you come on here. Ooh, that might be taboo. Might get branded. Um, like this little shadow around her wrist uh, goes into the sword hilt, and that's so that's what I'm would ink out, right? I mean, white out, right? Just a line that overshot a little bit, and plus I would go ahead and add shadow right there by her wrist because that makes sense, right? If this is dark on the outside, it's probably going to be dark on the inside, right? Unless I just unless there's that's a little light being let into the into like you know the cloth area there, but it's subjective. It's subjective. But yeah, you can see the line going in the hilt there, uh, the shadow line going in the hilt. So I'll just wipe that out, and then that little white space by her wrist that's not darkened out, I'll probably darken that out, right? So that darkness is encompassing, kind of like it is that arm there. I was there last year once. I must have to lurk around these times. Well, I mean that was last year, Gabe. Come on, throw us a bone this year. At some point. Come on. I like the eyes and the skull belt. Yeah. Gable, you should go on Rex's panel. Yeah. Let's see. Never lurk, Gable. You're too funny. Yeah. And I completed a line there too on the fire. Other than that, it's fine. But yeah, very very beautiful geisha like Yakuza assassin. Don't let her looks fool you. Uh, this is like a porcelain mask. This is not her face or her face paint. That's the ideal of it. Okay, now she may have like I'd have to look on the other piece to see if the hairstyle is the same. Or I think it's different, but and that's fine because the hair could be part of the mask, right? Expressionless, crying out black like this. You add some color to this, and this could really pop, right? The little red lips that are in the porcelain white on there with the black, and uh, you know, this is probably white, wraith like, but you could add, little, almost like this blue line color, baby blue. I don't know to show, you know, I mean, the darkest things right there, the it's the skull eyes on the hilt there. I mean, there's not a lot here. There's, um, no heavy blacks on this piece, but you can just with a few lines, make a beautiful piece. Wispy. That's what I wanted with her and Dirty Joe, and he's a ghost and she's more wraith like, which I have a handle on her character more right now. Let's see. That needs to be erased, or if I just a little pencil there. This one had a little pencil and blue line on it. So very little to do on this one. So go ahead and ink this in right there by her wrist. Like I said, that's subjective right there. But now the line that goes into the hilt, the shadow line that goes into the hilt, that definitely needs to be removed. Gable Penny Shot is like an editor. Are you not? I'm saying that for Carrie. It's basically making sure all the lines are there and connected. And be surprised what's not connected here. Just a little here, a little there. Which, your mind fills in the blanks, but I like to have the blanks filled in and have lines that connect, unless it makes sense for them not to be connected, right? Then you have overshoots when you ink. You're going to have overshoots of lines, like on the shoulder here. There's a little bit, and he even whited out, or I have. That might be my white out on the blue line. Then I'll go in here and I'll lessen that blue on that hilt and take out that shadow. And it may take more than one pass over that because it's darker undercoat. That works pretty good right there. Go in and put another dot there. I think it'll be good. It's trying to make the artwork look as clean as it possibly can be. And hopefully even make it a more beautiful piece than what it is. So I just connecting a little line there, little line here, little line here, little line there. And, if you see something that needs to be whited out or corrected, you better hit it right then because some of this stuff's not obvious, right? All right, there's an overshoot. I'll just take the tip off of that and clean that up. One line up against another line. It's not easy somehow to get just that little nick that sort of overshoots sometimes. I do have a commission right now, which I'm not looking for commissions at all. I have enough to do. But yeah, there's that drawing that I promised Kate for sending our ashcan over 1,000. And I said I would just give her a lady of the night. That's going to be kind of like this piece, just a few lines, like a swooping hat down over half her face is kind of what I imagine. Something very sexy in just a few lines, which I really had to wake that. Shadowhawk says, off to work. See you later, everyone. Have a good day. I believe his interviews though were on Thursday. Uh, oh, I'm glad you're here, Carrie, because I did wake up and I think I, I woke up and I prayed. Um, I had a dream, and I don't dismiss dreams. Um, can they be pizza dreams, as we call them? Sure, a little indigestion, a little spot of beef. Some of you will get that. You should, Carrie. You're from the UK. Good luck for interview, Shadowhunt. Carrie says. Um, in the dream, an ex high school man, we went through school all together. I think. I think he flunked a grade, so he's like a year older. He was kind of the bully. He was like one of the one or two bullies we had. We got along okay. It wasn't like we were best buds or anything, but he started wrecking things. Some things of my mother's, just like furniture, things like that. Some antiques or something in the dream. And this is just the portion that I remember. But he brandished a pistol and tried to shoot me in the head. And I grappled with him and got it away, and he was taken away and whatnot. But then after that, my ex pastor was in the dream as well, and so she was part of it. But it seemed like, and I will contact her just to make sure we're all good and that she's doing fine. Um, but there was a snake, and it didn't bite me, but it was trying to cozy up to me like Abby does, get real close. I was like, well, we're safe with this, and they're like, oh no, and then I was like, oh yeah, I didn't want the thing around me anyway, but I didn't want to provoke to bite me either. So I said, okay. When I woke up, sometimes I think some of that happens because you're cutting the circulation off in your limbs or something, and you're trying to subconsciously, if there is a subconscious, right, to wake yourself up. I don't know. And I do think that since symbology that it stands for something, but I was like, okay, so in this dream, I have a guy trying to shoot me and kill me dead. Obviously angry about some stuff because he was tearing up some stuff, and then he brandished the gun and tried to kill me. And knowing that I'd be upset about him wrecking the place. Um, and then, a snake. There was one other animal. It was kind of like a zoo or something like that. I don't know. It had, it had even a plaque saying what kind of snake, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I take that as like, okay, I didn't take that light. I went to the Lord with it, and I bound the strong man, and I cast down the strong man in the name of Jesus, and and just said, okay, Lord, you send your ministering angels, and I did the whole 9 yards. I rebuke you, Satan, and I bind you, and I can send confusion into your camp, and blah blah blah. Spiritual warfare. That's what you do, right? So, or that's what you learn to do. I mean, Christianity is a learning process, learning how to pray. Who? See, I don't take it lightly that this could be a warning. One warning. The thought occurred to me: what if there's a fire? That was like 2 days before my fire. Now, had I heeded that, or acted upon that thought and got my stuff out of there, I may still have my first comic book collection and original art and everything else I had, you know. Uh, and the next day I paid my rent up for another month. Or maybe that day I paid my rent up for another month. Which, don't get me wrong, you know, it would have been a hassle to move everything out of there, but you know, at least could have moved my collection, art, and records, and you know, maybe not the couch, which was an old beater couch, and I don't know, other, you know, a few other things, but my class ring, annuals, school annuals, things like that, that could have been moved. Might have taken more load, you know, had I acted upon that. If I just moved out a box or two, I could have saved the box or two, but I didn't act upon it. So, you know, God sends us warnings, and I think also in dreams. So, um, you know, I take that seriously. The most intense dreams I've had where God was trying to get my attention and tell me something was I actually physically was in hell. You know how it is. You play, kind of role play a character, but then you're also the observer observing the character. So you're kind of in a dual role sometimes. Um, and I was this guy with no arms and legs, and when I look at scripture, it all lines up. You know, about being a worm in hell. If you have no arms and legs, then how do you? You'd have to kind of snake like I had to, you know, to move. You have to sort of do this, right? Do the curly shuffle and it was like black ooze and sludge and stuff. And I'm not saying hell is literally like this, but it all lined up with scripture. You know, when I might have, I don't know if I wrote it down or not, but it was so intense. It took like 8 days, you know, about a week for me to shake off this. Ugh, you know, I've been to hell. I literally was in hell in this scenario, and it wasn't pleasant. And I'm just could not shake that off. You know, that just that. And then when I'm just kind of getting over it, boom, God gives me another dream where I'm in hell again. And the overall prevailing thing was not I'm in torment, I'm burning, I'm alone and in darkness apart from the Lord. I'm lost. I'm not found. You know, if you've ever had that line, I'm lost. Oh God, you know, and then fear and dread comes in. Well, I lost a viewer, according to YouTube. Anyway, uh, it was the overall feeling was betrayal. And we don't talk about betrayal that often. But if you think about it, betrayal plays a big part in the Bible. Uh, when someone you love um, betrays you, if you're emotionally invested in that person at all, it hurts. Um, Judas betrayed Jesus. If that was the only betrayal in the Bible, that would be significant enough to talk about betrayal. But betrayal, you don't. How many? You go to a Christian bookstore, it may be in the text somewhere where somebody talks about betrayal, but how many books have you seen just devoted to the subject of being betrayed? I could probably count them on my hands, and I couldn't mention a single one right now. Carrie says, snakes make me think of the part of the Bible that talks about Moses. Yeah, where he puts up the standard and people were healed, which was a shadow on the type of the cross. So yeah, I mean, just when I was shaking off that funka jam of that first dream, bam, God hits me with another one where I'm back in hell. What that was all about, I don't know, but it was, you know, it gave me an appreciation that hell, I don't want to go there. And what's wild is it all lined up with scripture. You can find scripture on it. Like the man with no arms and legs, the filthiness, of it. And it's where the worm never dies. There's, snake across the floor and black, sludgy, nasty stuff. I mean, that's the part I remember that's really indelibly on it. But it wasn't torment. It wasn't the usual things you would think of a hellish ram, right? It was the over, because in the scenario, the man without no arms and legs, he was betrayed, and he wound up in hell. And if you're not honest with each other, but more importantly, honest about where we are in life, we're betraying ourselves, right, from the truth. Truth will set you free. Lies upon lies upon lies will, bind you up. I don't have to worry about remembering things. Now, I told that person I worked at Coca-Cola when I really worked for the competition at Pepsi. So every time I meet that person, I don't need to talk about my job at work at Pepsi, because he'll go, I thought you said you worked at Coke. You see what I'm saying? If I tell the truth and say I work for Coke, it's better that person go, well, I work for Pepsi. And, and if he did work for Pepsi, he'd know you don't work there anyway, unless it's a very large plant or they have different buildings, right? I've never seen you there. Anyway, it's just better to tell the truth. That part that talks about when God gives Moses the staff, to free the Israelites, right? When he cast down the staff, and Pharaoh cast down his staff, and Moses' snakes eat the snakes, of the Pharaoh, which is depicted in the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston, which was until Titanic came along in the early 90s, 91, was it? It was the most Oscar-winning movie of all time. Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments. Yulbrunner, so it is written, so let it be done. He was arrogant. The one glaring thing out there, if you really read scripture, Pharaoh doesn't survive. He goes in with his troops to the Reed Sea. It's called the Reed Sea, but it's also called the Red Sea. It's called the Reed Sea, Reed, and it's also called the Red Sea. Different reasons. But I mean, he followed them right in, and he was killed along with them. That Pharaoh's in scripture. He did not survive to go back and say, sit by his wife all like grumpy, and his wife looking at him saying, I told you so. Failure. Loser. Nobody likes that. Betrayal, though, is one of the strongest things, right, that we have to deal with. It sucks to be betrayed. Some betrayals are lesser than others, right? But when it's somebody you really care about, really close to, and you go like, I never saw that coming. I thought we were going to live in harmony and peace and bliss for forever. So it sucks to be betrayed, and to have your confidence or your trust betrayed. And it's not a good feeling to be the betrayer either. That's one of the worst positions to be in. There's been I have broke trust. I'll be honest. Or to say it another way, I'll be deceitful. We say something, I'm going to drive to the store. Of course you're going to drive. What are you going to do? Walk? Be careful. Or drive dangerously. We say these things like, well, take care. Well, what's the opposite of that? Don't take care. Hope you slip and fall. Nice knowing you. I mean, we say these things and really they don't have any power behind it. You know, it's just things we say. I think about those things. I can't help it. So maybe I'll work on this Sea Demon piece. And again, where's the blades? Okay, that's cool, but it's and even the way it's bent back and foreshortened here, that's probably correct, right? Although it looks like it goes all the way to the elbow, which it cannot, and it probably should be higher up on the arm. Uh, this one again looks like it lurps over maybe from the outside to the top of the arm, so that both of these might need a little tweaking, but not today. Let's see. And then just like lines that overshoot. Like here's a good example, right? I'll show you. It looks like she has a spike on, I guess, right here on her thumb knuckle. Looks like she has a spike because the line just overshoots a little bit. See that spiky knuckle? You can really see it there, right? So what I'll do is I'll take my little white out and I'll just soften that up and do away with that spike, that little overshoot of the ink. Then you'll have a nice rounded knuckle, right? No more spike. Because that was pretty prominent, pretty glaring. Uh, yeah, well, regardless of where the fins are, I think he's a pretty solid looking character created back in 1992 or 93, somewhere there. The earliest artwork I have is 93. I didn't draw that, but it was probably 93 when I created the character. Um, Carrie says, I'm reading Max Lucado, the story, which is the Bible in one continuous story. I think I have that. I might even have a couple copies of it. I'm at the part that talks about Moses, Aaron, Joshua, land of Judah just before Moses died. Yeah. That must have been a funeral of all funerals besides the one of Christ, right? Where Moses died and God buried him. Scripture says that God buried him. Looks good, Rex. Thank you. Yeah. And just like this inner line here on the little, you have a lifeline, right? On the palm of your hand, a lifeline that follows the curve of your thumb, right? The meaty part of your palm of your hand. It just basically goes into one of the fingers, the little overshoot, the line for that he put, it overshoots. So I just take that little tip off, get that out of there, so that we don't have any lines where they shouldn't be. That's basically what I've been correcting, softening up little corners. Sometimes more extensively than others. Depends. Uh, Lines that stubbornly won't seem not to want to come out. Like gold pencil lines, things like that. I'll erase what I can erase. And like I say, it might not reproduce, but I just think I'm just kind of cleaning some of this up. uh, or things like this on his leg here, just a little bit thicker line, like his pen wasn't wanting to do smoothly. So that's getting pretty good at that. Just thin that thin that thick part out, make it look smooth. There, I got a little white out over the line, so I just wipe over my finger, and that may kind of gray it out for a minute, but then I'll go over that little section once it dries and strengthen that line again, where it doesn't sort of gray the line out. Guess I can connect all this mouthpiece, and one of the shadow lines goes up into the mouthpiece, the part that you speak in, the little. So I need to get that out of there, but that may just be a pencil line. So trying to erase it. See what I have here, and yeah, it disappeared. It's a pencil line. Which, there needs to be shadow there where the pencil was, closer to his face. So once I erase that, it's no longer there. I need to make this more smooth at the side of his face. There. First intended, I think. There we go. And then connect this all, not just shapes, but actually connecting as if it's one piece. And then I have a couple overshoots. This is working real small here on the mic. There we go. Take tips off those. Looks better. Got a little speck there. That's over whiteout because that's, or maybe even, you might have even used acrylic paint. Just, and we had some specks of white within a shadowed area, so that's easily taken care of. Just to darken that out. I think maybe that's that whiteout, whatever. You really see the whiteout under his arm here on this piece. Sometimes just going in and giving a second coat of in the majority of the areas of the dark ink, making the darkers, the black ink in areas as dark as they could be, a little bit more uniform. Just a little tighten up, baby. I'm in love with you. It's lighten up, just so you know. I know. Sometimes you do get a wash effect with the ink. What advice would you give Vic for his line work anyway? Mainly on elbows. That elbows actually have a point, and and knees sometimes. It's easy to just go whoop and make like a curved line and connect, the outward. That's all. But it really depends, right? I mean, you do get, more of a sense of a straight line going from over here to over here. But, there's bone there, right? There's a certain configuration, and depends on how you certainly could have just a line there. Shortcut. Knees, here's a couple bent knees here. Just basically straight across, right? Her knees. I'm talking about her knees. I know it's upside down, but you see. He basically does the same thing with the elbows. Uh, like I know this isn't, I take it this is an elbow. This is foreshortened. Um, But I mean, basically from point A to point B, just going straight across. Well, should be some, it's not just that simple. Um, Other than that, that's about it. Uh, Fingers. Uh, I don't think I should offer up any advice to any artist. But I think things through. Like, okay, she has sort of dainty fingers over here, right, holding the shuriken. Over here, yeah, you're going to be grabbing the sword. It's going to be thicker. So, are these female fingers, or is that a male gripping that? Are those fingers thin enough? That's what I'm saying. Are they thin enough compared to the other hand, even though they're gripping something? Your fingers are your fingers, as far as maybe they look a little thicker here, right, than the open hand, or do they? Probably a little. Um, but are these female fingers? It's easy to get into a trope of, yeah, doing this, drawing those exactly what he has here. And then you go over here, and the fingers are apart, and they're a little bit more dainty, right? Those are kind of female fingers. No thumbnails. I hate. That's it on feet and thumbnails and fingernails, and I never have been able to pick them right. But it's easy just to put a shape, right, and no thumbnail. She has no thumbnails. Now, sometimes we want to do that, right? Oh, because they can be, if you're doing a beauty piece, right? Uh, let me let me get this overshoot on here. I was like, yeah, I don't mind a little overshoot on that because that could be a reed, right, or something. Um, yeah, that would definitely be a rough cut there. So I don't know. It probably needs that line to go as high as this because there is variance in it, right? You might not know what I'm talking about. And sometimes you might, not every line needs to be connected like these on the hilt to the sword. He skips a beat, a couple lines there. But then that's kind of nice. That depicts like a lighter side, and then he has a darker undercut there. So that's kind of nice. And by connecting everything, you kind of kill the stylization of it, and this is kind of a stylized piece. Like I say, it's subjective, but that's a nice area where I won't fill in the line. It looks it because you've got a lighter side of the hip of the grip of the sword than you do the sword, which is obviously shaded underneath, little shadow, little, not really cross hatching, but you see what I'm saying here on the. So up top, there's the X's there are not really connected, but I'm fine with that because it's the lighter side. You may not be seeing that edge because there's more light on it, and then there's obviously a darker underbelly of that underside. Phantasmagorical hands and feet are hard for me. Yeah, yeah. If you can, I think it was who said what. Anyway, there was a professional artist. I forget who said it, but he said if you can draw hands and feet, you may have a future in this business. Talking about drawing comics. Be right back. I'm uploading a video. Yeah, a lot of artists dislike doing hands and obfuscate by making them hold things Uh, yeah, some of the time. Um, that's true. Yeah, I mean, swords. I mean, somebody like Shelby Roberts or something might like to draw swords and things like that. Again, that's, yeah, there's a curvature to here, but there's a certain straightness that needs to be there. And if it's not there and the lines aren't properly correct, your brain's going to say, that's off. That's not correct. So those straight lines that need to be straight or uniform every time you draw them. Oh, that's a nightmare. Now Joe Kubert, he didn't draw feet. I mean, he drew feet, but he didn't do any detail feet. You could say he went to the Rob Liefeld school. Hey, Mister Good Stuff, what's up? Uh, he would indicate a foot, but he wouldn't go into any great detail. Look at his Tarzan stuff, and that was his philosophy. But that's only one artist's philosophy on it. Maybe he didn't like to draw feet, but he said, I always like to leave a little something undone because your mind can fill in the blanks. And that's true. And maybe I'm too anal about connecting every little line. It's that, but I have a different school of thought. And, you know, hello to you. Uh, but that is very true, Gable. A lot of artists dislike doing hands and obfuscate by making them hold things. Yeah, absolutely. Or putting, uh, if you don't want, here's a good example. If you don't want to draw a foot, put it behind something like that tombstone. You don't want to draw the foot, just hide it. You know, and I'm not saying that he didn't want to draw the foot. It's just, he didn't have to because he put it behind an outline of a tombstone. If you're having trouble with hands and feet, you need to draw hands and feet like for a month, and you can do it by any number of ways, you know. And there's some good tutorials. I'm not here to teach anybody. I'm here to show people what I'm kind of doing, but uh, kind of how I work. But I'm not the best at hands or feet or anything. Uh, I'm a student of learning. Why are you calling me Fanta McNasty? Well, Fanta's in here too, even though she said she'd be back. Did he call you Fanta McNasty? He said, "Hey." He said, "Hi, Carrie." Maybe that's a joke on your part, right? Fanta McNasty. See, Fanta's in here. Phantasmagorical. Fantastic. Phantasmic. Cause she's McNasty. Laugh out loud. Oh, why are you calling Fanta McNasty? I was thinking, why are you calling me? See, it's too early. Anyway, yeah, because she's McNasty. Laugh out loud. She called someone a little McNasty at one point, so I've kept it going with her. Laugh out loud. It's stuck now. I don't remember who she called it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, get it right, Rex. There you go. Yeah. So anyway, let me. There's very little that needed to be done on this, but I do see some. And I, Frank Miller, he leaves out a lot of stuff. You know, definitely, it's stylized. I don't know that Vic's going for stylized in a way. I don't mind a little stylization. It's pretty close. Beautiful piece though, and that is, and we'll be using her Japanese name, but translated it is Sweet Baby. So this is she's a Yakuza assassin and more, but I'm not giving that part of the story away. Set in the 40s, but you might actually see her in modern times as well. But then a lot of my characters will. I can move them around like chess pieces, as so I desire. I have a very good device for that, I think. Time travel. See, there's okay. You probably went and he went or maybe he went in one fluid motion, but in this one little spot, the blade is not there. The lines don't connect. Now your mind will connect those lines, and this has other lines with the fabric kind of coming up in that spot, so you might not even spot that, you know. But for the sake of argument, I will connect that line so the blade is connected all the way around. I've learned doing the he started to bend it right at the arm. That's kind of a tangent without being a tangent. He started he did straight line all the way up to the outer part of the arm, and then he uh took it and he went up and bent it. You can tell by the line quality. And then he stopped and he bent it again at the tip. And I think if you look at the line quality of that, you can see what he did to get this kind of long sword. I've learned though, from inking the wraparound cover, like just doing just like a sword, kill dragon or blood dragon's tail, these long, and then you want that inking to look seamless. You can do that with a pencil all day long, and if you make a mistake, you can erase. But on inking, it's like, oh God, I gotta do these long, it's not, and make it look. And when you're doing things like that, I can see where I know it's difficult for me, uh, but just breaking it down, you can tell. Okay, he took a ruler, he drew it up to here, up to the arm, then he kind of bends it upward, and he goes up to about here on the tip, and then he put the tip on. So he did it in three stages. He went eh, 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 to get this. And I can tell by the line quality of the bend of it because it's not as fluid as it should be, which is very difficult to do. Uh, by and large, it looks good. Looks good. I'm not here to be critical of any artist, and maybe somebody, you were being overcritical, or you just but you know, but when you have a gap here with the line, yeah, it needs to be fixed. Also, what is being depicted. It's easy, one of the easiest things to do to get into doing is, okay, I'm doing some hatching, right? Like on Silverbow's costume, right? This is a perfect example. And he curved the lines, and that's what needs to be done. Somewhat curving the lines because it's conforming to his body, right? They're not just going to be straight across. That doesn't make sense, and it doesn't look right when you're done, especially if there's a lot of it. Uh, yeah, I'll ask him about that shirking. Either that or I probably would just wipe that index finger out, which is a nice dainty finger, and probably the most that and the thumb. You know, again, there's a little spike right here, which is easy to do when you're just doing shapes. It's of of the fingers. There's a little overshoot right there on the knuckle, which is not much of a one, but soften that up, round that up where it looks more flesh-like. If I can get the white out to come out. Let's see. Yeah, I like to kind of roll this tip around, and get any excess white off there. Keep it clean. Okay, where was that? Oh, okay, the tip of the knuckle, which just really didn't get all that. Sometimes you can pass over it again and it'll take it right off. That might be pencil right here. Line quality makes a difference in inking. I'll give you an example here. Let me put my cap on my white. Don't want that to dry out. Because we got a thick finger here, right? Which I can thin that out. No problem. But on this shirking hand, right? She's got one thing, you know, these others are fairly thin lines, but you've got the one finger that's bent that's thicker than the other, and it really, really stands out, right? So I can just go in there with a little white and thin that line out, and it'll make that hand look more uniform. Gotta head into work. Have a great day. Congratulations, Fanta. What are we congratulating? Hey, I'm stoked. 600 subs. All right, ATM. What's ATM at the moment? Yeah, I think that's it. See, I'm learning this speak. I'm so stoked. I wish I was stoked. Gotta head into work. Yeah. Congratulations, Fanta. Absolutely. All right. So let me. I'm not really sure what's going on with the shirking here, but I think I can, at least for sanity's sake, uh, thin that finger out. Thinner line. A little bit more dainty finger. There we go. All right. Now it doesn't stand out as prominent, right? And even on that shirking, I'm wonder about that shirking, but there's the finger. Now it doesn't stick out as prominent as a while ago. She's going to be an interesting character. Uh, she's going to be a very interesting character. Absolutely. You would probably see Sweet Baby at some point going up against Shadow's Kiss. That would be awesome. Shadow Kiss being the ninja like. Well, we need more ladies. We need more female characters in the, and she's a good one for the Momentum Universe. Here's the other piece that one of the that was in the ash can with her. So anyway, I see. I'll give it another couple minutes and do a couple hours. What will I be doing? Uh, 4 o'clock shadow coming up. What else? Thursday. Lorenzo has his stream tonight. Mike, of course, has his mic stand all the time. If you're not checked out his mic stand, go over there and check him out. I mean, he's like me. He streams every day, and just I think he streams every day. I don't even try and catch up with that, but I'll be on with him coming up here pretty soon. And I could have been on with him the last 6 months, but I have had a lot going. And he does send me links in Facebook, but I just don't get on Facebook and do Facebook that much. Hopefully, here pretty soon, my friend Elsie will be able to come join me and, join in and stream. He's chomping at the bit. He's like, I'll make a copy of a page and send it to me and I'll ink it. He's chomping at the bit to do something. Um, he has been all along very supportive. Um, if he gets on, we might make him a judge on the contest. I don't know. It'd be nice for him not to be a judge, so that he could participate, actually do a fan art piece or something. Because he'd do that at a drop of a hat. Um, our elbows just mere points. That's what I'm saying. You know, and the female elbow is going to be different than the male elbow. I mean, just the configuration. It's going to be thinner frame in most, unless you're Gina Carano or somebody like that. Did I say her name right? Until she got fired, I was uh, off Star Wars. I was not even aware of her. But wow, I'd like to see her play Xena. She'd make a good Xena, or would have been. I don't know how old she is. Lots to look at, lots to do, lots to do. I hope everybody has a good morning today. As I say, pray for me, pray for our quote Bible study, or we're watching The Chosen. Come join us. I'll do intros and then we'll stop it and we'll talk behind the scenes. You can come in and don't even talk. If you want to participate, just watch. But we're having fun with that. You know, pray for me, my safety, and everything. That dream kind of didn't really shake me up, but I do take it as a warning. I talked about that earlier in the stream. I won't rehash that, but I'm like, yeah, I'm. If you say Jesus is Lord, you're expected to come under attack, spiritual attack, and it's usually a 3-pronged attack, or 4 or whatever. It's the punch you didn't see coming that clips you, right? That gets you. Often the devil tries multiple points of attack. So if you stop this one, you stop that one, you may not stop that one, right? You didn't see it coming. That's the tricky thing. He's tricky, 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 tricky. Uh, and pray for Topher that joined us, and Rick Piper that joined us, Shadowhawk, of course, myself, and Smoking Wraith. So we've had, we're growing and enjoying the hell out of it. It just, that series is just getting better and better and better. You can come in at any point. I think Carrie's trying to do catch up, or some people in Ice Queen, they're trying to, and some others are trying to watch and catch up with, and watch it. You want to binge watch it and watch the whole thing, you can. We're kind of doing it. Rick's already seen it all, and he said, "Yeah, I got to leave in about 10 minutes." He didn't leave till we closed down, uh, but it was so good in the discussion and everything. So consider, pray for all those individuals in the group. Of course, the people that are sick in CG, LCG. Bow for now, and keep collecting, keep watching the stars. Is another one? I don't know. And yes, I'm going to go get some more rest, Gary, and enjoy my day. And maybe I'll get to go out tonight. I bet they wait till Friday, but if they don't, hey, more on the paycheck. In fact, I probably need to run over to the bank right now and just check my balance and see if I got paid for the one day I did work, because I'm not knowing when the pay period falls. But if I did get paid for it, if it falls that way, then yay! I got, about $80 in there or something. I don't know. Sometimes dreams don't mean what we see in it. I will pray for God to reveal dream meaning to you. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true, Carrie. But, um, like I say, I might have just cut the circulation off on my arm or leg or something. Woke up and I was kind of, in an uncomfortable. Maybe it's just trying to wake me up, but I have very vivid dreams. That some of them, some in color. A lot of people are like, I've never dreamed in color. I've dreamed in color. I've dreamed. One of my coolest dreams was I was Aquaman and could breathe underwater. I didn't go out and test that theory after, didn't take it that literally. Bye. I love you much. Thank you, Fanta. Love you too. Yes, I will rest. Um, Here's Mike's channel. Thank you for dropping that link. Yeah, that's great. 600 subs. Way to go, Fanta. That's awesome. That's awesome. I went over to Blue Harvest. It really does help to go over to other channels and got a sub. Now, will he stick with this channel and keep watching? Is it something that interests him? There's no telling. But I got a sub while I was over there because I have a wrench, a spanner, as he calls it. And all you UK people, it's a spanner, not a spoon. Or maybe it's both. I don't know. Come on, and what's a spork? Over here, it's a spoon and a fork. Spork combined. It's a, it's a spoon. It's a little jagged edge. Um, so got a new subscriber. Uh, so I should be up to, yeah, 309 subscribers. Woohoo! On my climb to 1,000, which I need 1,035 or 1,040 or 50. The more, the better. You know why? Because when you reach 1,000, we were talking about this the other day, they might drop you down 35 or 40 subscribers. Some chicanery going on. I got 1,000.2K views on video of Shadow, and I'm not a content creator. I don't have a channel like you do. Well, where are you posting the video, Carrie? Oh, hello, Jill. I can't believe people don't dream in color. I can read in my dreams too. By reading your dreams, you mean interpret dreams, or that you're actually reading something in your dreams? Inquiring minds want to know. So, Carrie, can you explain that before I say bye? Oh, I posted on YouTube to save phone space, but I'm not a YouTube. Well, why don't you have a channel? And where do you post? I didn't know you could post stuff on YouTube without having a channel, which says that you have an account. I guess you can chat without a channel, right? You have an account, right? That's that's quite the dream to read in dreams too. Yeah, it would be. Um, I guess I probably read because I'm a reader, although I haven't read anything in a long time. I still consider myself a reader. I read words in my dream and can even do math, but none of the math actually makes any sense. I think that's what you meant. Um, I've probably done some basic math in my dreams as well. Uh, I hate those dreams, of course, when you're running and you can't run fast enough. One time I had a werewolf chasing me, and there was an old '50s truck, and it was down from where it was on the road where I grew up, one of the roads that went by my house. Got new Max Lucado book in post today called Fearless. Cool. That's cool. You probably have a devotional by him too. He is a good writer, very prolific. Um, so happy reading to you, Carrie. Take naps where you need to. Uh, don't rag yourself out. Get too tired. Rest is important. Rest is when your body heals itself in a lot of ways and does the things that it needs to do, like digest food and heal up. Got a little scrape on this knuckle. Uh, what else? Oh, I was opening up one of Abby's meal and sliced the, and it did bleed a little. Sliced the skin off my on the inside of my thumb there, and like you go to untwist a soda, you feel that. I mean, it's kind of a bad spot to cut yourself. I was like really surprised. It was like a paper cut, but it was like that laminated aluminum or whatever it is. Oh, didn't feel good. Take your own advice, get some rest and sleep, Rex. I will. Uh, anyway, take care, all. Have a great day. It is Thursday, according to Carrie. I was thinking it was Wednesday. I wanted to stay on hump day, I guess. Uh, but have a great Thursday. Make it the very best you can and be kind to someone.